start with we're going to continue with the course. We were talking about uh, SQLMap automation. So in this case, this is how we're going to do it. My target IP is Metasploitable. So I'm going to show you how to automate all the process that we've seen in SQL injection, but manually now we're going to use these commands. But it's better if I show you. Okay. So the first thing we will do is go to the to your target IP. In this case, is then vulnerable. So let me just so you can see it. So let's say you open this, right? So I start from the beginning. We're gonna go to security. We put on low. So we have submit, and then we go to let's say SQL injection like that. So what we're gonna do is press 1. So we're gonna need the URL for this. But let's go over here. So you say SQL. Let me first clear this. So SQL map like that, and we can open it. But in this case, since we want to learn how to use it, you say SQL map H for help, and it will teach you how to use the commands and what is it everything for. Okay, so we're gonna use dump, we're gonna use columns, tables, database, and so on. We can passwords and so on. Okay, now we're gonna use this parameter so it could be easier for learning. We're gonna use cookie, HTTP cookie header, and so on. And let me see if I can find you like this. We're gonna use -u for the target. So let's go and we do this. So first of all, okay, let's clear this, and let's do mmap. SQL map -u, and in this case, make sure you use double quotes like this, and then you're gonna have to go to your vulnerable to over here, your target in this case Metasploitable. So you press 1 over here like that, and it will, because it's doing this right and it gives you this URL. So you copy URL, and then you come over here and you put it inside the double quotes like that. Now we're gonna do -- cookies. They call it cookie, and now that's another. Now we're gonna have to get the cookie. Now there are 2 different ways to get the cookie for this. So you can do right click, inspect elements, and then you go to console, for example, and you write documents that cookie like that. Cookie documents. It's not defined cookie. Actually, why is not defined documents? That cookie. Let me erase this. Let me go over here again. Inspect. Now we go to console, and we say documents that cookie. And as you can see, here give us the cookie. Okay, so we copy this cookie. Control C for copy, and then you go over here. And Linux, you got to do again over here is Control Shift and V to paste. Okay. Now that we have that, we got to do -- dbs that I will show you over here. That's one of the commands we're going to use, -- dbs like that. The first command, then we use this ones. So okay, let's run this, and in automatic it starts to run. So it's telling me that I have these databases. Okay, it ran. Okay, and it finds vulnerability, but in an automatic way. Okay, so as you can see, it says over here that it find based the blind, error based, time based the blind. So these are vulnerabilities that it find. So union query and so on. So there we go. Okay, and then since I asked for the database, I could run it just like that. So from the beginning, you're gonna have to run it just like this. So it goes through all the processes. It's gonna take longer because you haven't run it yet in your equipment, and it will give you this. It will ask you questions, say yes, and so on. Now, and this is when you run the database. It will give you the database. Now, since you already know the database, so now we're gonna tell them that here's the databases, right? So I'm gonna tell them, okay, now that we know the databases, on this database, I want web app. I want to see the tables, okay? Tables. So you can do like the tables. So you do it from the beginning, like this. Like that, you can do it like that, and it will give you this database. It only has two tables, but because if you do this and you do the command like this, for example, it will give you all the databases. And it's a lot of databases. For example, for each database, it will give you all the tables. So this is all the tables for each database. Okay. So database sticky wiki 95 has 194. Okay. This other data, it has this other database, it has 194, and so on. Okay. Then the one of the web app has 2. MySQL has 17 tables, and so it will take it give you a whole of everything. Okay. But in this case, since you only want to know about, let's say you want to do first we do tables, right? Let's do databases like that, because we want to know how many databases. Now we have all the databases. Now what we want to do is just know exactly on this database. So we do -d, for example, and then we tell them VWA like this, and we tell them tables, and it will give us the tables of this database. So in this case, since you already has the tables, you might want to know the user columns. Okay, so in this case, we erase this, and we do -t, and we tell them we want to know users and passwords of this table. Okay, So we said, okay, users. For example, if we tell them users like that, it would tell us just the users. Oh, okay, beautiful. So that table -t because you already know. So we say users. So I don't have to go back and forth. So and then commands, brother. Too many commands, brother. Too many commands. Yeah. So for example, you want to know users and passwords. You tell them, okay, from the database, then from the web app, I want the tables, users, and we want the columns. For example, I meant to tell you from users, you can set columns like this, columns, and it will give you the columns inside that then table, the users table. In this case, it has 6 columns. Okay, columns like this, horizontal. So it's the database. It has the tables and it has the columns. Okay, these are columns. Okay, and these are tables and the database. Okay, now if we want to know the passwords, since this is the user, you might want to know the password, right? The password, and in this case, I want to know what's the user. So this is where you do like that. So you tell them in the database, then vulnerable web app in the tables, you want users, okay, and then you want -- column. It gave you the columns. So in this case, for example, you might want to say -c. And now because you already know the database that is this, we already know how many tables it has. It has 6, and we already it has how many tables it has. In this case, it has 6 columns. So if we go up, we can see how many tables it has, right? Because we ran the command already. Anyway, I'm not going to lose time, but you got the message there. So now that we already know the database, the tables, in this case, we want users, okay? And now we know that how many columns users has, so we tell them we want user, we want the column user, and we want the column password. And we tell them to dump because we want to see the information, okay? So we enter, and it will ask us, do you want to store hashes to a temporary file for eventual further processing? No. And then he says, do you want to crack them via dictionary-based attack? I say, no, you can, but in this case, no, because it's for demonstration purpose. Okay, now here's the users and passwords as I show you in SQL injection manually. We've seen this. If we go back over here, and let's close this, and we run this command, for example, it was select user, comma, yeah, like that, from users, because we want it from that table, right? And as you can see, we have the hashes and we have the information that we have over here. Okay, this one's now you can see it's the same. Okay, you can see it's the same. So this one you're gonna have to practice when you're alone. So now the question is, we already find the hashes and the password. Now you might be asking what we do with it, right? So this is where the fun begins, brother. Here's where the fun begins. So what do we do with the password hashes? That's the question, okay? Extracting hashes is not the end of the task, as you should know. So the real risk appears when weak passwords are cracked offline. And this is what I'm going to show you. If I go over here and I open another tab, for example, to do it quick, we're going to use online. But you can do, for example, you can use John the Ripper, because one is classic. It's stable, and you can break MD5, SSH, A1, NTLM. So you can use that. But we're not going to get into it because it's going to take ourselves a while. Okay, you can run a command like John hashes.txt --worklist. But now you can the standard output today is hashcat. Okay, so hashcat is the new is today's the standard because it's updated and you can say it's faster. Okay, extremely fast. It's used for real pen testing, bug bounty and red teams. Okay, but I'm not going to get into it right now because, like I said, it's going to take time. So let's go into online. Now, you don't break this online because it's, because it gives you, one is to avoid data leakage, they call it. So let's copy this. And let's go over here. And it's hashes.com, for example. And over here, you can put your hash. And then you go over here, you got to fill this up with the captcha. And Z8, AZ, see like that. And see. And let's submit it. And it tells you over here that the password is, this hash is quickly broken because it's already in the public databases. Okay, here. Now you can search for another one. So if we go over here and we pick this, let's say this one, Control-Shift-C, and then you go and you paste it over here, Control-V, paste, and then we gotta fill this up, D4, MA, 1V, and we enter, and it tells you that the password is Charlie. Okay. So that's how easy it is to crack them online. There is other databases that you can use to crack online, but usually you online databases exist by professionals assessment rely on offline cracking to avoid data leakage, brother. So there you have it. I'm not going to go into all the details, but you can use John the Ripper to teach yourself the basics and fundamentals. Now, hashcat is like for real pen testers and professionals, and online lookup is a quick way to do things, but it's basic. Okay. Okay, it's for so SQL injection give us access to the hashes, as you can see. Um, Weak hashes and weak password turn the access into a full compromise. So there you got it, brother. There you have it. There's a simple way to go step by step. And like I was telling you, you can even do if over here SQL injections. They are very, very powerful. One of the most dangerous ones because you can take control not only of the website page of the application, you can take control or even the server uh, through a backdoor using SQL injection. Okay, that's it. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.